Hey, Mark again here, WeatherMan Plus. It is Monday, April 5th, so I hope y'all having a great day today. It is beautiful outside, and we do have a pretty significant thing that's about to happen across our country, guys. In the Midwest, all the way to the Central Plains, all the way to the Deep South. I will go over everything I have with you. Now, if you look at the videos I do have on the left, you see on the very top, I'm showing surface low pressures, and that's so you can see that this storm bursts up, then it comes back down and consolidates, then it bursts up again in the south. That way you can see that. And if you look on the bottom, one right above my head, you'll see the CAPE values. Now the CAPE values for the Midwest, they get up to about 2,500 to 3,500 late this afternoon. But it does get even worse as the storm reproduces itself in the south. It transfers its energy, it creates a low-level jet, and a lot of potential for some very severe, even a tornado outbreak is possible, guys. So if you've never been here before, hello, my name is Mark. I do upload every single day, just not Friday afternoons to Saturday afternoons. That's when I do my Sabbath. Matter of fact, I even took off for Easter. Okay, it's a very important day to my family. But this is tomorrow, right at 9 p.m. I'm going to explain this storm to you. But this is your CAPE values. As a matter of fact, this is your Mu CAPE. This is your most unstable CAPE values. And you'll see that right around 9 p.m. that we actually get close to over 6,000 joules per kilogram. That is some very strong energy that can produce some very high-end tornadoes, guys. I searched it myself, and anything with 6,000 CAPE values has a chance to do anything from an EF3 to an EF4 or more damage. So we do have a dry line coming. We do have cold air coming. We have two different levels of wind shearing against itself. I will show you everything. But guys, 6,200, that is outrageous. This is your teleconnections, and you can see right here on 60W, that's right on our country, right when you go into the center to the east coast. You can see that right around the 6, we do have a velocity potential for a strong storm that could affect our country. But even worse, this is what's going to affect the Midwest. Even worse, when you look right around April 10th, all the way down to the 13th, even the 12th, that we have a very strong anomaly, even stronger than the first one that's about to happen. That's going to be coming later. So we got to pay attention not only to the first one, but the second one, which is going to be even more severe. This is the Euro. The Euro is showing that your Arctic oscillation, that you do have some cold air coming down from the 6th all the way to the 10th. And this is your GFS. Your GFS is a little bit longer range model. Now, the GFS does confirm that there is some cold Arctic air that is going to come down from the 6th all the way to about the 10th on its way up. It was worth being around the 9th. But it's showing also that we have a second dip of Arctic air, and this is coming down from the 11th all the way to about the 14th to 15th. This is going to reach even further south into our country. This is at a -2, guys. This is not going to put freezing temperatures everywhere, but it will put y'all in the 40s for sure, even a lot of people in the 30s. But this is really going to make a worst case scenario for the vorticity that's going to be happening with this storm. Now this is a shot from 500 millibars way up in the atmosphere, and this is your cold air anomaly, so you can see the temperatures of what's going on. And this is right here on the 5th. And you can see that we do have some cold Arctic air that will be coming down all the way from the 6th, and it will be carrying over all the way into the center of our country. Now when it gets right here and it bursts back up, this is where a second anomaly will continue, and it'll create a low-level jet, and then this strong cold storm will go up to the Midwest and get even stronger. As you can see around the 8th and the 9th, that we started getting a second one that comes in, and it will tilt down even further into the south. It will bring some colder temperatures. It's only around in the 40s. Like I said, some people in the 30s. Not a big deal. But this cold air anomaly will create problems with these storms. Then as you go from the 11th all the way through, you can see that we do have that other dip of cold Arctic air that does come through all the way to the 13th in the southwest. And this will be a very cold anomaly. This will bring cold temperatures, even some possible snowfall. Now, according to the National Weather Service, we do have a slight risk for severe thunderstorms in the yellow, and the marginal is in the green. However, none of these have a chance for tornadoes. You mostly will have some wind, and you'll have some hail out of this storm that does come by. Now, as you get in towards tomorrow, it will shift. This energy is going to go from the Midwest, it's going to shift to the Central Plains, then it's going to shift down to the south. This is going to be a long duration event with this storm, and it's going to get stronger as it goes. And for tomorrow, your slight risk is right here over Kansas. You do have the marginal in the green. As a matter of fact, you do have a 2% for tornadoes from northern Oklahoma all the way to southern Nebraska for this 2% for tomorrow. You also have wind, and you also have some hail that will happen. And then we have, for the third day, we have the slight risk down here over Arkansas, Louisiana, and portions of Mississippi, while you have a big wide spread of the marginal. And as far as the tornadoes, you're still 15%, it's still 5% in the brown. I do expect this to go up. I do expect this to be, if not a moderate, to a high level over Oklahoma. Let me explain. Now, there will be some storms in the Midwest today. And a lot of these storms will be coming from this low pressure coming from the west to the east, but most of it is from the tail whip from the rain bands from this low pressure system up here. It does whip up some storms as it passes by. Now, there's a few things that's going to happen with this storm. And as soon as this low pressure moves, that's why I'm showing you the double burst up top, is as soon as it moves through today into later on this afternoon, you see that the low pressure system has transferred energy a little bit lower. It's still creating all these storms that's going to be going on later on today, but at the same time, it's bringing the center of low pressure system even lower, which will make it get an even lower level jet. Then as we get into later tonight, you'll see you create an upper level low over here over Nebraska, and the energy will transfer over to that upper level low, and it will travel to the Midwest. Now, as it does that, for the day 3, it will bring these storms and these very strong rain bands down to the south in the southeast. Now, this is not only your tornado perimeters, this is your significant tornado perimeters. So let you know when you have a very strong chance for very strong tornadoes to pop up. And if you look here on the top left, you'll see this is right around 1 p.m. today. It does start to grow up some good tornado perimeters. They get pretty strong. You can see down here on the bottom, it goes anywhere from a 1 to a 2, a little bit plus. And then once you get into later this afternoon, right around 8 p.m., you start getting some red dots areas for some very strong, up to 3, almost 4 for tornado perimeters. Also for Kansas as well, you can see this start to add up down here. And this will be a significant event down here after it gets some storms up here. This is going to be worse. By 10 o'clock tonight, it's going to start calming back down. So you will have a chance for a few hours in the Midwest for tornadoes. They're very slim, but it's not really looking good as far as the shear. So I do not expect any tornadoes. Maybe one will pop up. It's very unlikely that any tornadoes will come out of the Midwest out of this storm. And then as you get into tomorrow, right around 1 p.m., you do see that it does build up for a very significant tornado perimeters, especially around 5 p.m. It gets very strong, and then you got your very strongest right there. This is off the charts, guys. This is a 12 out of 10 chance for tornadoes right in this section. This is right around 9 p.m. tomorrow. Is going to be super strong. Now, this is your surface CAPE values for the Midwest, so you can see what the potential is. Anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 can produce very strong thunderstorms, and that's what you have a lot of here. Matter of fact, you have a max of over 2,000, and this is right around 1 p.m. today. Then as you go through your day, it gets all the way up to 2,600, 3,500, and this is by 4 p.m. today. You get to 3,500 and all this orange, and that's your worst case, best chance for any severe storms to pop up. Now, I'm not showing that you have all the shear that you need. Your winds are not at 2 different directions, at 2 different height levels. So I do not see any tornadoes popping up out of this. However, this will be severe storms. There will be a lot of rain involved. Definitely a lot of lightning. Then as you go through this afternoon, it gets to its worst case right around 7 p.m. It gets to about 3,100 joules right in this area by Nebraska. And it gets very strong. This is where the energy starts transferring to the south. Then it'll go down until tomorrow. This is your composite reflectivity, and you can see that in the Midwest, you do get some storms building up later this afternoon. Some people will get snowfall. There will be a lot of severe thunderstorms. But as you get into tomorrow and late tomorrow, then it transfers energy. And on that third day, it gets very strong. We're talking Wednesday morning. We're talking very high winds potentially. You see the big bowing in this rain band right here? That's a very strong wind gust that is pushing that out. And you see how it bows it out as it transfers its energy from the north to the south, and then it'll transfer its energy back to the Midwest. It won't stay forever, but these rain bands will continue to go on to the southeast. It's going to be late in the evening tomorrow when this energy transfers down south, and then it'll start getting robust with a low-level jet, and it's going to want to go up. But until then, it's going to spark up some very strong wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour that will be pushing that storm and that rain band out. Now, it won't stay strong forever, but for a little while, you will have strong wind gusts that will be pushing these storms out. So it will be some damaging winds with this storm. Now, this is your supercell composite. This also lets you know there's going to be a lot of storm systems that will be having some hail inside of it. And you can see right around 1 p.m. this afternoon, it starts building up to some very strong storms. It starts getting pretty sporadic across multiple states, especially by 6 p.m. tonight. Then it'll start going down significantly right when you get around 9, 10 o'clock at night. And this is when the energy is transferring over towards Nebraska, towards Kansas, and it's going to go towards Oklahoma and Texas. Then as tomorrow goes, it'll start brewing up its storms in the afternoon. You can see it right around 4 p.m. The storm starts brewing up in the south. Then it gets really strong right when you get around 10 o'clock tomorrow night. And you see that strongness right there? That is some very strong energy. This is a 26 out of 50 for your supercell composites. This will be some strong hail that will be with these cells. Starting at 5 p.m. tomorrow, you're starting to get supercell composites in Oklahoma, all over Texas, and it strengthens for Oklahoma. It gets very strong, up to 26 for a chance for supercells in this area. So this will be a strong system that will brew up while this low-level jet builds up, and then it'll go off to the Midwest. Until then, it's going to leave some very strong storms down here. So here's your significant tornado perimeters for the south. And you can see right around 4 p.m. tomorrow, it starts building up to some significant chances for tornadoes, and I will show you why in a second. But you see right when you get around 8 p.m., it starts blowing up. And right here, we're already at the max, a 10 out of 10, but it gets even stronger and it covers even more area. Then it starts weakening right around 11 o'clock, right around midnight, and it starts going away. Last leaving lower Texas. And here's a closer look for you so you can see how the surface low pressure builds up. Here's your surface low pressure right here. Here's your center of your surface low pressure. You can see the curve. It's starting to twist. It's starting to get some vorticity. Now you got a significant chance for tornadoes from the rain bands coming from the tail whip from this storm. I mean, very high end. Look at this. This is a shot from Oklahoma. This is Oklahoma City right here. And you can see the building just strengthen all around, right to the west of Oklahoma City, right next, in between Oklahoma City and the corner of the Panhandle. And this is literally going to be a very, very strong event. So let's take another look at our surface cape. We can see a little more of the picture of what's going on. And this is right around 2 p.m. today. And we're getting right around 2,200 surface cape already. But right when you get around 4, 5 p.m., mainly 4 is its strongest. It'll be right around 3,800 for cape values. Once you get to around 7 p.m., then it starts going down. It starts weakening from the Midwest. And by the time you get to 10, 11 p.m., then all you have is enough energy for some severe storms still for Nebraska, also for Iowa. You do have some severe storms all the way until midnight, 1 o'clock, even 2 o'clock in the morning before these go down. Anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 will produce severe thunderstorms. So you will have it to about 1 o'clock. And then tomorrow, right around 2 p.m., it starts building up some more strong cape values as this energy shifts from the Midwest to the south. And then right there is your strongest point. This is right at 9 p.m. tomorrow. And this little curve right here, you can't see it real good. I will zoom in, but it has a very white speck to it. As well as you can see there's the line that's coming across lower Texas. This is over 5,500 joules. Matter of fact, on the WSV3, I'm picking up over 6,000. Then as it goes through the evening tomorrow, 10 o'clock, it's still holding on to 4,600 joules. And then it goes down because the cold air comes down with the dry air, and it does smash these storms down some. And then as you go to the morning of Wednesday, it goes down, but then it builds right back up for the southeast. And this is going to come right back up, and this is where we have our 15% for the next day for Wednesday. So I will update this, guys, but this looks like it's definitely brewing into something big. And it's getting bigger as it goes along. But here's a very significant chance right here. This is so strong. I haven't seen this strength in a long time. You can see again, you can see the curvature of the surface low pressure right here. And as it builds up, it spins and it creates a low-level jet. And that gets all that vorticity, it gets all that strength for chances for tornadoes to pop up. And we're talking cape values of 5,500, almost 5,600, according to the NAM3K. Now, it will go down and it will transfer some energy down to lower Texas. So we do need to be aware of that as it moves away into Wednesday when it builds right back up and it needs to be updated because we can only see so far. And this is one of your culprits right here. This right here is warm humidity coming up, and this is your dry air coming in from the storm with the cold air that's bringing with it. And as these two clash together, you can see the spin right here. This is where the low level jet builds up and it starts building into a surface low pressure. And this is what gives you the big problem, because not only do you have wind shear, you have very strong dew points, but now you got the dry line clashing with the warm humidity, and then right after that you'll see that the system comes down and smashes with some strong winds and some strong power itself. So first you have the original clash, then you got another clash coming down, which will bring this down to the south and southeast. And then tomorrow it builds up another dry line that looks like it's going to push even more east after it just fills up. But for tomorrow and the morning of Wednesday, you have very, very strong systems coming through. You have very strong interaction with the dry line, the warm humidity, and the pressure system coming down with the winds. And you can see how through tomorrow morning, how this just bursts open with some storms, and it just creates a low level. Now the energy has transferred over to the south, and it's going to ride the south for a little while before it transfers back to the Midwest. But you can see the good curvature here of the surface low pressure. You can see the banding out of the rain bands, and that is going to the southeast as well. And now you see that the energy is getting transferred back up to the Midwest, but at the same time, these are already on the motion. We have the dry air moved in, we have the winds moving down with it. These are coming no matter what. This is going to be a bad section right here for tomorrow. Now this right here, this is your wind shear. This is what you need to help create rotation. And as you go from 9 p.m. tomorrow, you can see the energy transfers over to lower Oklahoma, and it will transfer also down to lower Texas. This is some very strong wind shear that will be coming with these storms, while you still have this low level jet that's going to be going to the Midwest. And it does bring a lot of storms with it. Tomorrow afternoon, 5-6 o'clock at night, you start getting some very strong wind shear that is popping up over Oklahoma. It does transfer over, but by the time you get to about late night into early morning on Thursday, then your wind shear is getting very strong. Now you're getting up to 110 knots. That's 125 miles per hour winds. You can see it best here. You have your lower level winds that you have going from the south to the north. You have your system spinning around, and the winds are going to be coming from the west to the east. And if you look right on this line, you can see this clash happen. Right when the winds come in, it clashes with it, and it creates all those problems. It creates all that shear, all that rotation for these storms to happen. This isn't super fast winds that's going on. However, you have different winds going on different levels. On a lower level, you have winds going from the south to the north. And at the 500 millibar level, now you have the winds coming from the west to the east. That's going to create the rotation that you need to create these tornadoes that will happen with this storm. This is a lot of wind shear that's going in the opposite direction as a low level winds, guys. This is going to create a lot of rotation. This is going to be an issue. And if you look right around late tomorrow into early Wednesday, you can see that the cold air is coming in and meeting up with the warm air. And this is some of that cold Arctic air that is coming through. But as it bursts through, it goes all the way down, and you can see the effects. And then it's going to curve up to the Midwest, and it's going to go back to the Midwest. But that cold air smashing through is bringing some winds with it. It is bringing the change in the temperature, because the change with the temperature in height is what creates vorticity. And the warm air on the lower levels rising up is going to give you convective activity for these rotations for this storms. And here's another look for it for tomorrow evening. You can see that the warm air is coming up, the cold air is coming down, and then it's going to smash on through. It has some very strong winds, and it's going to keep carrying to the south. This is going to affect these storms greatly. If you remember, the GFS showed that they have another Arctic air coming all the way from the 11th all the way to the 16th before it goes back towards the neutral phase. So if you go and check the thunderstorms on what happens after the 7th, and you can see that from the 8th to the 9th, that you get some very strong thunderstorms in southeast Texas, and it will go all the way to Louisiana. And that is very strong storms, guys. The whole area is just covered in pink. severe thunderstorms. And this will carry all the way towards New Orleans with some severe thunderstorms. This is going to be a significant event. We need to watch this as it goes because this is strengthening as it goes. And then when I searched with the NAM 3K, tomorrow, right around 9 o'clock, I found the worst intensity of this energy that is coming through this surface cape. And I am showing that right next to Buffalo, right next to Woodward, that you have a potential for over 6,000 joules, over 6,200 joules per kilogram. That is very high convective energy that will cause some severe tornadoes when that happens. And you are seeing that convective energy because of this low-level jet that does appear, and as it strengthens and goes back to the Midwest. So all that energy transfer that it does is dry air coming in, the cold air coming down, clashing with it, helping that warm air rise, will cause a lot of convective activity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this Mu cape, the most unstable surface cape. And I will show you exactly what goes on as this afternoon rolls along, because these storms do get strong. Up to 32, 3,300. Very strong cape values all afternoon, especially as you get towards the evening. If you notice, as you go through today, you have some cape values go through. That's from the tail whip from that surface low pressure that I showed you. But then the other surface low pressure comes in right around noon, 1 o'clock. It starts building up. Then it gets really strong cape values all the way up to 7, 8 o'clock tonight. That means you're going to have some very severe storms. I don't see any tornadoes, but there will be some severe storms all night long. We're already in 4 o'clock tomorrow morning, and you still have very strong cape values in the Midwest. Then once you get around tomorrow evening, then it's going to transfer the energy down from lower Texas all the way to Kansas. And then once you get into a little bit past that, then you can see where I got the strong cape values from. Then you can see the hook from a low-level jet that does get created from the surface low pressure as it builds up strength, as it gets strong, and then it goes into the south the next day, which you can't see too much further. But as you can see, it does pull up and it does build. So how intense that is, we don't know yet. It's still too far. But I will play this for you. That way you can see it in motion of the cape values, because there's going to be some strong storms this afternoon. It's going to get stronger as the evening goes along. Tomorrow it's going to transfer over through the Central Plains. Tomorrow evening into Wednesday morning is going to be really rough. So God bless you all. I hope y'all have a very blessed day today. I'd like to read the Psalms to y'all. Psalm 85. Lord, thou hast been favorable unto thy land. Thou hast brought back the captivity of Jacob. Thou hast forgiven the iniquity of thy people. Thou hast covered all their sin. Selah. Thou hast taken away all thy wrath. Thou hast turned thyself from the fierceness of thine anger. Turn us, O God of our salvation, and cause thine anger towards us to cease. Wilt thou be angry with us forever? Wilt thou draw out thine anger to all generations? Wilt thou not receive us again, that thy people may rejoice in thee? Show us thy mercy, O Lord, and grant us thy salvation. I will hear what God the Lord will speak, for he will speak peace unto his people and to his saints. But let them not turn again to folly. Surely his salvation is nigh them that fear him, that glory may dwell in our land. Mercy and truth are met together. Righteousness and peace have kissed each other. Truth shall spring out of the earth, and righteousness shall look down from heaven. Yea, the Lord shall give that which is good, and our land shall yield her increase. Righteousness shall go before him, and shall set us in the way of his steps. Amen. I appreciate y'all's support today. I appreciate y'all watching the video. Everybody that's in the way of this storm, God bless you. I do hope that you are safe, especially don't want to lose any power, because in general that just really makes a bad day. Thank you all for your time. Please leave a like if I helped you in any way today. Share this with others if you know somebody's in these areas. I'm sure y'all hear enough of that throughout the day. Y'all have a very blessed day. All glory does go to God, God of Jacob. Amen.